Dr. Jan with some wise words to work with. And did you know that organizations who have bully culture are almost always giving you red flags when you interview that something is amiss in their organization? And that's what we're going to talk about. So the first thing to be aware of is if you're in a high-risk profession like health, mental health, or education, the very likelihood that you go from one bully culture to another is particularly high. It's just something to be aware of. But you can screen for it so you can avoid bully culture. So one of the things to do is to do a deep dive on the internet and figure out what are people saying about the place you're thinking about working at. More and more people who are leaving jobs are giving reviews about the organizational culture. When you interview, you can also, if you're going into a new community, go out into the community and ask about the reputation for that organization that you're working at. People are very honest, and they'll tell you exactly what they think and how they think people get along. Do the same thing if you're already in that community. Just ask around. And those dysfunctions and bully culture, those rumors will come up. In fact, one job that I actually ended up taking, I did several interviews around. And when I was at another place, they were talking about the organizational culture of the place that I was going to interview at the next week. And what I should have done was I should have listened to those rumors, because those rumors were actually true. They talked about abusive work relationships, and they were very aware that workplace bullying was happening. What I did do, and this is what I recommend, is that if you do hear rumors about toxic workplaces and bully culture, is that you bring those back to the organization and ask them to address it. And I actually did that. I said to the dean and assistant dean during my interview is that there are rumors that there's toxicity and abuse happening in the workplace. And what they said is, we got rid of that person. Well, what I know now is bully culture is an organizational problem, and just getting rid of somebody doesn't stop bully culture. But listen to what people are saying. The other thing is when you go into that interview, keep your eyes and ears opening. How are people interacting, or how are they not interacting? Are people's doors opening? Is there tension in the environment? Are people laughing and supporting one another? If there's tension, that's a red flag. Are people asking you questions they're not supposed to be asking? Are they saying things like, oh, I know I'm not supposed to ask you, but, right? Those sorts of things mean that they're looking for a particular type of person to fit into their organization. And if they're not supposed to be asking those questions, guess what? They shouldn't. A healthy, resilient environment doesn't need to ask those questions, because they will incorporate all types of people into their environment, not just the type of person they're looking for. I hope that makes sense. And the other thing too is, this is a huge red flag, is every bully culture, they talk poorly about their colleagues. And this means that targets will talk negatively about bullies, and sometimes bullies talk negatively about their colleagues. I'm sorry, there's my cat is right there. And so those are red flags. In a healthy, resilient workplace, they don't need to talk negatively about their colleagues. But in bully culture, it's always evident. And the other thing too is, if that supervisor or whoever that person is telling you that things are too good to be true, right? If they're telling you and you're getting everything you want, I'm not saying that can't happen. I'm just saying it's unlikely that you're going to get everything that you want, and that everything your supervisor is telling you is painting a massive picture like everything is wonderful. In a healthy, resilient environment, they will tell you that they have some challenges. And that's exactly the kind of thing you want, is openness and honesty. So if it seems too good to be true, it very likely is. And the most important thing that I can tell you about screening for workplace bullying is trust your instincts and trust what your gut is saying. If there is something that's off in that environment, you're going to pick up on it, and trust yourself. Okay. It doesn't mean that you can't take that job. It's just that you have to prepare yourself that something might not be great and that bully culture could be happening. So utilize and screen for workplace bullying because you don't want to be like I did, going from one bad environment to something that was even significantly worse. And I promise you, if bully culture is happening or toxic work environments happening, people can't keep that under wraps, and you're going to be able to see the cracks in that, and you're going to be able to see that something is off. And trust yourself. And I don't want you to be in bully culture now, and I certainly don't want you to end up in another one. So screen for bullying. Thanks. I'll see you next time.